Hi there, my name is Bob. I'm a living kidney donor. I'm going to tell you today about my living kidney donor experience in the hopes that it inspires or encourages you to look into living kidney donation, possibly even go forward with it, and possibly save a life or at least improve somebody's life significantly. I'd like to first start by telling you some of the more general things about living kidney donation and then tell you about my own personal experience with it. Um, Living kidney donation is not new. It's something that's been going on for over 50 years. In that time, tens and tens of thousands, if not more people across the world have donated a kidney. Each year, thousands of people donate a kidney across the world. The Living Kidney Program doctors and nurses and staff have been doing this for over 50 years. In that 50 years, all of the knowledge and experience has been shared, and the people that carry out this process now are the most dedicated, experienced, professional people you can imagine. You're in absolutely the best possible hands. Kidney donation has benefits or advantages to it that many people are not aware of. Did you know that living kidney donors actually live longer and on average than most people? Living kidney donations are more successful than those that come from deceased donors. As a living kidney donor, many programs offer you a lifetime monitoring program whereby on some regular basis you go in for a checkup and have a whole slew of tests. And if anything significant is found that's a problem, it'll be addressed and hopefully resolved. As a living kidney donor, you can donate directed or to one person, or you can donate anonymously or non-directed and go on something called the paired exchange program. The paired exchange program benefit is that with that, your donation as a non-directed donor can actually have a domino effect, creating other operations that will take place at the same time. Kidney donation often has an expense program associated with it. All of the expenses that you incur, or most of the expenses that you incur during the process, will be covered by these programs. Many medium to large and even small employers will give you the time off to donate. Many of them will also even pay your salary for the time that you are off. The donor's health in donating is of paramount importance. If you are at any significant risk or they find any major problems, you will not be able to donate. You'll be disqualified. In addition, if you just change your mind during the process for whatever reason, say something comes up and it's just not a good time for you to donate, or for whatever reason, you can withdraw and there will never be any question asked of you. Probably the most common question that I get from people is why I donated. Well, absolutely. For me, the main reason I donated was because I wanted to give something back for the wonderful life that I have that I'm so grateful for. I also wanted to be able to help somebody else, possibly even save their life. I wanted to make a difference in life. I wanted something more fulfilling out of life. And absolutely, donating my kidney was as fulfilling as anything I've ever experienced in life, including marriage and children and other things that are that important. Was the donation itself hard, painful? Well, thinking about it, in my whole life, there are many more things that have been more difficult to deal with, both mentally and physically, than donating a kidney. If I could donate my kidney, if I could donate again, it's something that I would do in a heartbeat. So my living kidney donation, how did it come about? Well, it's really ironic. I'm a regular blood donor, and 10 years ago, I was waiting to donate blood, and I looked down, and in front of me was a pamphlet much like this one that said, "Be a living kidney donor, save a life." Well, it started me thinking. I believe very much in fate and that things are meant to happen. So I started looking on the internet. I went to the library. I contacted the coordinator whose number was in the pamphlet, and I met with them, and I got more information. And finally, I discussed it with my spouse, with my family, and I decided it was something I want to do. And I had their support to do it. Having that support is absolutely critical. If you have people that are close to you, you need their support before you proceed. Otherwise, you could run into problems in the future that will prevent you from being able to donate or cause some serious problems with those relatives. So, my own experience. I started a whole slew of tests, and there are a lot of tests, and over about a 9 month period, there were lots of them. Soon into the process, not only several weeks into the process, I got a call from the coordinator saying, listen, we've found something with your kidney and we need to get you to a specialist to look at that before your process continues. Well, the problem was they found a small kidney stone. And after more tests and discussing it with the doctor and finding out that I never had any history of kidney stones, it was one single small stone. There was no history in my family. It was deemed that that kidney stone would not prevent me from donating. And I continued with more tests. A short time later, I got another call from the coordinator. This time, I was more surprised because they said I had something come up on my heart tests and I needed to see a specialist and the process was going to stop again. Well, I was really amazed with that because I've really been a very physically fit person in my life and always prided myself on that and was kind of like shook up by that. But anyway, I saw a heart specialist and found out that I had something called left ventricular hypertrophy, which sounds pretty crazy, pretty serious, but in fact, all it was I had an enlarged heart that related to the fact that I had been very active in my life, largely with cardio intensive activities, and I had an enlarged heart. That this would not prevent me from donating. My heart was super strong to be able to donate. There would be no problem there. So I continued, and after many more tests and many months later, 7 or 8, 9 months later, I was contacted to say they found a match for me, and that this person from the Paired Exchange Program lived in Vancouver, and that I would have to fly to Vancouver to donate my kidney. I was fine with that. So on April the 28th, 2010, I flew to St. Paul's Hospital. And at 6:30 in the morning the next day, I went into the operating room, and 4 hours later, I woke up. And the first person that I saw was my surgeon who removed the kidney to carry out the process, Dr. William Gourlay. I was probably close to the 1,000th kidney operation that he had performed. And to me, he was a bigger hero than I could ever be or I could ever imagine. He had a big glass of water for me that I just gulped down because I was really thirsty. I then went to my hospital room and spent the next 3 or 4 days convalescing. The first few days were difficult because, as with any surgery, as I learned in my life previously, when I have an anesthetic, I have a bad reaction to that in that it causes me nausea. For the first few days, I couldn't keep anything down except for liquids, and even that was difficult. And I really look forward to my first meal on that third day. Unfortunately, hospital food hasn't improved a lot over the years. And to compound matters, a large part of that meal was a big pile of peas, and I've never been able to eat peas or stomach peas. So I didn't eat them, but I got through it. I was discharged from the hospital a few days later, after 4 days. And my operation from the Paired Exchange actually caused 3 other transplants to happen at the same time, which I learned, and that was really gratifying. And I also learned that the patient, the person that received my kidney, was doing quite well. So I was really happy with that. Because I flew to Vancouver, I wouldn't be allowed to fly back for at least a week. And that's what they do for health reasons for when major surgery is involved. So they put me up in one of the most beautiful hotels in Vancouver. All my expenses were paid during the time that I was there. I was really happy in a way because I got to meet with my brother and sister who lived in Vancouver, and we had a really good time, even though I took it pretty easy. But just had a great time there. And after a week, I flew back home and convalesced for a few months and then went back to work. And really the only major problem that I had or problem that I had in the first few weeks of convalescing was I couldn't lift anything really heavy. And that's because I had my stomach muscles were cut. But luckily I had something called laparoscopic surgery. It's not an open type surgery, but only kind of like a laser surgery where there's only small incisions made and very minimal scarring. But the trouble is that it cut my stomach muscles, and so I did suffer from some stomach cramping, and I even suffer from that to this day when I get involved in exercise that involves a lot of stomach muscle exercise. But I just take it easy and it basically goes away. So, um, that basically is it. I went back to work a few months later and I do everything today that I've ever done. I cycle, I swim, I kayak. I don't run as much because I've got osteoporosis in my knee now. And, when I donated, I was 55 and I'm now 60 something. I hate to say, but I feel great. And if I could do it again, I would do it again in a heartbeat, but I can't, unfortunately. If you look into it, good for you. And I wish you all the best.